we have to worry about the fate of the Nigerian democratic system. Those who blow the whistle and worry about the fact that it is possible that we are in the process of creating a one-party state may not entirely be wrong in their understanding of the situation. My own view about this is that we haven't seen the end of this drama. It is worrisome because the opposition doesn't appear to have fixed itself in a situation where it can say to Nigerians, don't worry about politicians who move with their mandates and your trust and your confidence, and they just change parties. A politician that wakes up in the morning and says, I'm PDP in the morning, but in the evening I'll be APC, will betray you, and that's a fact. The PDP has been crippled, very, very badly crippled, by both internal issues as well as the assault from APC itself. There's very little that you can identify the ADC with, other than that it is a vehicle, it's a vessel for the ambition of those in the front line of the party. So in a way, the APC is gloating over the fact that it is eating up the opposition. There's a huge price that it has to pay, because by the time it schemes off huge numbers of opportunistic and, to be honest, irresponsible politicians, it has to deal with its own problem. It will be Nigerians against the APC. If the opposition is not likely to be a threat to the APC, I'm not sure whether the APC should relax, because there is Nigerian people, and Nigerian people are watching, and they are watching very closely a party which has massive problems in terms of the way it sells its programs, or the way it implements these programs, levels of insecurity, levels of poverty, levels of corruption. And when they have to vote, unless you are absolutely certain that the votes will not count, and Nigerians will just merely go through the process of electing who they want, but you're going to turn the result at the end. If one were advising the APC, one would say, watch the Nigerian people. The elections of 2027 could end up being the election, a tussle between APC and the Nigerian people.
2027 election will be like 2023 if we don't make it about us. If we don't make the 2027 election about Nigerians, the sort of country that we want, as against Nigeria, the kind of country a politician want, the result will be the same. And we're still going to have this catastrophic presidency and political party still running Nigeria in 2027. And guess what? They're running Nigeria to the ground. So if you agree with what Dr. Hakim Baba Ahmed said, is 2027 going to be about Nigeria versus the APC or other political parties versus the APC? What is your take? I'm going to break down something for you. I want you to watch this to the end and patiently follow this through, because this will open your mind to understand the importance and the reason why, as Nigerians, we must ensure that when you vote, when you canvass, you do that with the intent, letting everybody understand the importance of this. We are all suffering the consequence of bad governance. We're all suffering the consequences of bad leadership. We are all suffering the consequences of a terrible presidency and terrible political party. That's where we are right now. So let me give you this comparison of what happened in 2023 and what is going to happen in 2027. And I will take Rivers State as an example. In 2023, there was a political bargain that went in the background as alleged and speculated. Wiki agreed to make sure that APC wins the presidency and PDP will win the state governor and then win the state legislature. That was the agreement. When the results were counted, they realized that APC was losing massively because APC lost massively in Rivers State. When it came to the local government with the largest polling, with the largest number, Obiakpo local government, that's where the rigging happened. And that's how Bola Tinubu was speculated was able to win the presidency in Rivers State. And that's what yielded Wike to become the FCT minister. So take that scenario. Man, bear in mind, all of this was speculated. Now, reports are showing that indeed, Peter Obi did win Rivers State by a large margin, and the result was rigged. Now, in 2027, it will be difficult to explain that same concept in Edo State, in Delta State, in Akwa Ibom State, in Cross River State, in Rivers State, in Ebonyi State, in Anambra State, in Enugu State, in Kogi State, in Kwara State. Take all the southern region, take the north central, take the middle belt. How would you explain that same concept that across board, where APC is not the governor, but Tinubu is winning across board, if that's not going to be rigging? So in order to make that concept easier, they had the plan from day one. They're going to force those other states, governors that are not APC to become APC. Obviously, there was infighting within the PDP. That was also a tool that was used. Wiki had already made an agreement with Tinubu, who's going to canvass for him. So it's Tinubu's biggest marketer at the moment. Labour Party was already infiltrated, and we're seeing more and more stories emerging right now to show how corrupt the Labour Party was with the leadership of Abure, as speculated. So what you're basically seeing is a play out of knowing the fact that they need to show up, especially the southern region and the north central, as the case is at the moment. What they did was, we'll force them to join us, so that when we want to rig the election in 2027, it is going to be easier. How? It's going to be easier to explain to the world and to Nigerians that Nigeria has voted for APC down ballot. They voted for APC for presidency. They voted for APC for governorship. They voted APC for state legislatures. And then they voted for APC for federal legislatures as well. Do you see how that's going to play out? That's the plan from the beginning. So by coercing the politicians, knowing that the politicians themselves are corrupt, it was easier for them to do all of this. And now, taking into account the off-cycle election that has happened, especially the one that happened in Edo State, because Edo State was a proof of concept that they were going to rig the election in 2027, that they were going to do it the way they were going to do it openly, and nothing's going to happen. They were going to rig the election using the INEC. They'll use the judiciary. Our judiciary is so corrupt to show up that result and make it formal. And when they saw what happened in Edo State, how Edo State fell into the hands of the APC, the other political parties and their defectors realized they didn't have a chance. That's why you see the likes of the current Enugu State government defecting. Akwa Ibom has defected. Delta State has defected. Diri of Bayelsa State is speculated to be defecting soon. So when you see all of these things showing up and playing out in your face, you realize that 2027 won't just be about what we did before, making it about Peter Obi, but it will be about us. Having somebody, maybe it's going to be Peter Obi, maybe it's going to be a Moile Shore, but somebody we can converse and say, that's the one that will lead. We'll put in front, but we the people will be the ones to lead this. Somebody asked me in the comment section, are we going to be voting for Peter Obi because of Peter Obi? Or are we going to be voting for us because of us? And make the 2027 about us. And that's exactly what Dr. Hakeem Baba Ahmed is saying. 2027, let it be about Nigeria versus the APC. Because the only thing that stands against APC right now, as of this particular moment, is that it's about Nigeria versus the APC. If it's about PDP, PDP is already, scattered. It's about Labour Party. That's just another arm's length of Wiki at the moment. It's about ADC. It's about the same old recycled politicians who, when they had the chance, they would have done well with Nigeria, but they didn't. When Atiku was in power, if they made the things they needed to do right, we would not have a Tinubu today. When Jonathan was in power, if he had done what he needed to do right, made the system work, we would not have a Tinubu today. All of these people, David Mark, El Rufai, name them. They were there before. If they couldn't fix Nigeria, why do you think Jonathan or Atiku will fix Nigeria today? They benefited from the corruption that brought about Bola Tinubu. They benefited from the corruption that brought about Muhammadu Buhari. All these guys were friends, and they're still friends. All they're needing is they're using the people to wrestle power away from each of their hands, and they can come back again. That's why we have to make it about us versus the APC. Now, Peter Obi could be the flag bearer. Omoyele Sowore could be the flag bearer. Whatever the case is, we just have to make sure that we're not wresting power away from one person's hand and giving it to another person who's going to be incompetent or as incompetent as this current government that we have. That's why I'm asking you the same question. Are you personally going to make it about you, about your family members? Because we all suffer the consequences of an incompetent government. We do. We're suffering the consequences of prices of goods and services. We're all suffering the consequences of insecurity. We're suffering the consequences of bad governance. Come 2026, there will be a lot of taxes coming on Nigerians in the country where the government has not been able to perform. The government has not been able to provide security for Nigerians, but yet it wants to tax Nigerians. It's not been able to provide roads. Yes, it wants to tax Nigerians. The same government that is ruining and borrowing monies and we cannot see what they're using the money for. It was Dr. Chief Dan Olase, the PDP chieftain, who said that the only person that can wrestle power out of Tinubu's hand positively is Peter Obi. It was the same man who also said that the current crops of politicians that we have, not as though they came from a blue blood kind of background. They are all children of the poor who rose up to where they are today. Rather than using that opportunity to build the nation, they've ended up ruining the country even much more. Can you see the crop of leadership that we have? That tells you the decay in our system, the decay in our society. And that's why we need to change it, because until we change the system, the core of the system, Nigeria will remain the same. Any country who got better never left it in the hands of the politicians. Every country that got better and did well, including America, the UK, Canada, all the Western Europe, they got that level because of the people decided and yearned for it. And then they found somebody who they rallied behind, who had that same spirit of a greater nation to effect those changes. That's what we should do in 2027. That's why I say watch this to the end. This is why you must share this content with others. This is why you must subscribe to others, to this content if you've not done so. This is why you must comment. Agree whether or not you agree with it or whether or not you disagree with it. How do you think we will make 2027? Is it going to be about Peter Obi or is it going to be about you and I? Is it going to be about the PDP, the APC rigging the system completely to run Nigeria aground, or we're going to say we're not going to let that happen? So put that in the comment section. Again, like it, share, subscribe, click on the notification icon, and also don't forget to recommend this channel to others. I will catch you in the next video. God bless you. Bye-bye for now.